Hey guys, so I know at our strategy workshop we didn't have a ton of time to talk about editing, and I know that was a big part of what people wanted to know. So I thought I would go through how I edit a few of these photos from that day. And if you're watching this and you weren't there and you just want to know a little bit about editing, that's fine too. You'll probably take something away from this as well. So I've just starred some of these photos that I wanted to show you what I did with different little functions that we did with each one. And we're going to go through each one. And then also keep in mind that this is on my desktop. However, you can do all of these things within Lightroom Mobile. They have the same functions as you do on the desktop version, and you'll just have to tap through the different tabs to get to the settings that I'll show you in a second. Okay, so first we have this photo of the beautiful flower arrangement by Everwild. And then what I always first do, of course, is apply a preset. And for this whole bunch, I've been doing my May preset, which is very natural. The colors aren't too crazy. I just wanted to keep things very natural but enhanced. So I placed May on there, and it looks pretty good. If you see the before and after, the only thing that I'm kind of seeing here is when you're dealing with something that you want to stay true to color, like flowers, I want to change the color of these flowers to be more purple like they actually are. So to do that, you'll come down to this HSL/color, and this is again on mobile as well. And there's a hue, saturation, and a luminance section. And for this one, we're going to deal with hue because we just want to change the color of these to be more purple. We don't want to change to be more saturated or less saturated or more luminant. We just want to change the color. So instead of messing with these sliders manually, I like to do this pinpoint. And so it's going to adjust whatever you click on after you click on this little pinpoint. So let's click on that and then come over to these flowers and you click. What you're going to do is click, and then while you're holding the mouse down, you're going to scroll up and down with your finger, and it's going to adjust the color, and you'll see. So click and hold, and now I'm going to move up with my finger, and you can see how it's changing that color. So if you go like this, it's very like ugly. It's very like pinkish pale. If you come down, you can see that purple is coming back. So that's what we want. We want it to be more realistic. And if you watch those sliders, you can see like what is made up of when I touch this flower. So it's adjusting the reds, which is kind of funny. You'd think it'd be purple, a little bit of the oranges, but mostly red. So we're going to bring that down to be more purple like it is, and then let go, and then you'll see it's more purple like it actually is. Okay, so moving on to the next one. I really like this table of cookies. The first thing we'll do, apply May again, and then what I didn't like was this blue wall in the background. It's kind of distracting, so we'll just crop that down a little bit, and then it's not perfectly straight, so let's straighten it. Okay, so we have May applied. Again, with this one, I feel like some of the details like of this, the lips, you can kind of see that the outline is kind of lost when you apply the preset. So I want to do the same concept with the color on this one. So we're going to zoom in so we can make sure we can get right on that line of right here to bring out the color of that. And we'll come back down again. And this time we're going to do saturation. We're not going to change the color of it. We just want to make this more stand out like it actually is. So we'll click on this little button next to saturation, and it's very small, but click on this outline and we'll see what it does when you drag it down. It almost disappears. We don't want that. We want it to go up and bring out that pink color better. See how that brought that out? So it's more more realistic. So I'll do a little bit more, and that's it. You can do this with any color on here if you feel like the blues aren't blue enough, or a color needs more saturation. Just click on that little button and find it in the picture and then drag up and down. Okay, so the next one. So in class, we were kind of talking about lighting, and you want the lighting to be between you and the subject. So all this light back here is behind all the subjects, which is why everybody's shadowed. So it's not ideal, but I feel like you still have to make things work to capture something. Like I wanted to capture this side of the room. Like if I could only, do the best lighting sources in the room, I would never get the people on this side of the room. So we're going to make it work. Start with May again. And again, you can see everybody's kind of shadowed. So this, all you really do, you could, bump up exposure a little bit, which works. But if you do too much, if you're trying to get that detail, it's really blown out up here and you don't want that. So there's almost only so much exposure that you can adjust. So I would start right there and then move on to shadows, which is right here. If you bump that up, it'll bring the detail back out of those shadows. And you don't want to do too much. It's going to look fake. So there's just a happy place, and it's up to you. And again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying about RAW files, that if you shoot in RAW, if you have the ability to shoot in RAW, you're going to be able to bring more details out of those shadows rather than a JPEG. It might kind of look pixelated or just washed out. So that looks good. We're moving on to this one. Again, apply the preset. This looks like we need a little bit more exposure just to brighten it up a little bit. And I think I want to add a little tiny bit of warmth. So pushing this slider up there, this temperature slider over to be a little warmer, not too much. And then with this example, I wanted to show you some spot removal. So as you can see, this little outlet, it's not terribly distracting, but I like to make things as less, to take away distractions as much as possible. And so we're going to use this spot removal tool. Again, zoom in to get the best ability to get that looking clean. You're going to be on clone rather than heal. Again, all found on the app version. And you want to make the brush size. You can change the size of it right here. To be just a little bit bigger than that outlet. And then you just paint over it like this and get all of the, and it's going to drag, and the computer is going to take what it thinks it wants you to replace, and usually does a pretty good job. And see, it is gone and you can't even tell it was there. So let's zoom back out. It's gone. It's good. Okay, and then these last two, I kind of wanted to use an example of lighting and what being close to a light source can do. So this one we were right by the window, and I love this light that's hitting her face. It's just kind of brightening up her face, and you really, the better light sources, the less edits that you need to do. I would barely even touch the exposure on this one. And it's really good to go. Like I love how the light source is coming from right here on the side, and it just brightens up her face. And then this picture we took more towards the back of the room. So the light source, you can tell, is just not the same. Not bad. I wouldn't say it's bad at all. It's just different. I just wanted to show you the example of like light source, getting closer to the light source and what that can do. I still really love this. So we're going to apply the preset, and I think it's still great. You just don't have that highlighting on her face. So again, just an example of what lighting can do. And if you wanted to talk a little bit about aperture on this one, I was focused on this coffee mug. And I remember in class we talked about the size of your aperture. So I had this on 1.8, which is the lowest my camera can go to, and that captures a smaller plane in focus. So it's not just focusing on this coffee cup and only the coffee cup is in focus. Her hands are also on the same plane as the cup. So her hands and the cup is what is in focus on this. And then everything else is kind of a little blurred out. Again, here's the before and after. Love this shot. And that's it. If you have any specific questions and you want me to do more examples and videos, I'm happy to do so. Thanks for watching.